Welcome back. We are talking Continental Free Trade Agreement that was signed a couple of weeks ago. Nigeria has announced they're joining the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement at the next AU meeting, likely to take place in Addis Ababa. We're discussing that and other issues around free trade and movement in Africa, open skies. We have a lot of discussion around that. We have Abraham Kamauceo, who's the CEO of Miradi Capital, to take us through this. But Abraham, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, but before we get into free trade, we want to talk about the economy.
Yes.
Q1 GDP, Q1 to non-GDP printed at 5.6%, which is lower than the 6.5% that was printed in 2018.
Yes.
What do you read of this?
I think we're probably slowing down.
Yeah.
But let's hope not.
Yeah.
So let's see what the next quarter portends. Because if the same trend is sustained,
yeah,
then we could be slowing down.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
yes.
Look, I was watching news the other day,
yes,
and I think Strathmore University, some consultants they found,
yes,
they've done a manufacturing survey, and they've realized that manufacturing companies have significantly cut down on capacity.
Yes.
Cutting down on capacity, whereas previously they used to do 8 hours a day, they're doing 3-5 hours a day. Cutting down on capacity, delaying capex.
Mm-hmm.
You think, and you're still printing 5.6. Where is the growth coming from?
You see, even if you go deeper, you'll find that actually there are companies that are, especially manufacturing, that are actually shutting down, and this completely goes against one of the big
I saw someone
agendas.
tweeted yesterday. You know.
Yes. So he said yes. You saw the tweet where somebody said 14 companies just near him had shut down. So maybe there's something we are missing.
Yeah.
And maybe this could be some of the indicative of this slowdown. Yeah. Because if everybody's cutting down on the hours they're producing, yeah, they're cutting down on their staff. Yeah. And some are shutting down altogether.
And they're cutting on investments.
Yes. So it could indicate a problem, probably with market, and or with cost of production. Yeah. Or probably both.
Yeah. What does this speak of ease of doing business? I mean,
you see, I think when we compute ease of doing business, we concentrate too much on the compliance aspect.
Yeah.
How many licenses, how many keys do I have to go to? But we forget that the ease of doing business must also translate even to the producer. The ease of getting their raw materials. Yeah. The ease of going to market. Yeah. And sustaining that market. Yeah. So I think when we're doing that index, I think we need to factor in that, because whereas I may comply and get that industry, I may not sustain it.
That's true. Yeah. And sometimes compliance costs could also be prohibitive sometimes.
Yes, they are. And that's what is, right now, that's the focus. We're just focusing on reducing the cost of compliance, yeah, and the number of touch points you have to touch before you fully comply. Yeah, yes. Fully comply. Yeah. So that seems to be going well. Yeah. But now we are forgetting that once that is done, then we get into a production process. What becomes critical is how easy I get my raw materials and how easy I get my produce to market. Yeah. Those two, and sustainably. Yeah. Yes. That now becomes critical.
Abraham, look at the fiscal side. It's yes, very evident that the government needs to cut down on expenditure, because yes, for a number of reasons. One is that they just ended fiscal year. Mm-hmm. The government had a tax collection target of 1.6 trillion. Yes. It's evident they're not going to meet that.
Yes, by about 400.
Yeah, by about 400 billion.
Yes.
And the expenditures are the same level. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, the economy, it's evident, the economy needs some physical expansion, mm-hmm, some physical boost. Mm-hmm. Because when you talk about the private sector, supply side and demand side, all weakening, you definitely calls for a boost. But if you look at the fiscal position, the fiscal stance that we have right now, it's both aggressive on the spending side, yes, it's aggressive on the tax side. I mean, what do you make of the fiscal side? Is it very accommodative? Do you think it would support some recovery?
You see, you only tax profitable businesses.
Yeah.
Or businesses that are alive anyway. Now, if in a scenario where businesses that are existing are cutting down, means that you can only tax them less. Yeah. If you apply the same principle you tax them previous year. Yeah. And that translates also to the people who are working and producing. So your tax income is falling. Yeah. So the only way you can increase your tax is first and foremost grow the general income per capita.
The wages.
Yes.
A very important point, Abraham. Yes, we had a discussion here.
Yes.
And we saw a chart.
Yes.
Where the real average wage growth has actually been below zero.
Yes. Actually, so the question about come out of zero.
Yes. There are very few cases that it's just slightly above zero, but for most of the time over the last 10 years, yes, the real average wage growth has actually been sub-zero.
Yes, yes.
The question was, how do you save in such an environment?
You can't save, because it means your real income is less than the previous year.
Inflation
if
is
inflation
is eating your
yes,
money.
so inflation is eating you. So even before you talk about saving,
Yeah.
you're not even consuming enough.
Yes.
Because you must consume. Mostly we save out of
surplus.
what we save from,
surplus.
from consumption.
Yes.
But if consumption, you don't even have enough to consume, then savings cannot be a discussion.
Yeah.
It will not happen. So the only solution is an increase in the general GDP, but more importantly, the distribution of that GDP. Because even if the GDP is growing, which grew, even the 5 point is not bad.
Yeah.
But the critical point is how many people are participating
in that. That's the point, actually. Yes. And one of the biggest questions we ask is that we are in a very accommodative physical. Well, it's not accommodating on the fiscal side. We are on a very accommodative, an expansionary monetary stance.
Yes.
Yes. You could say so because they've been maintaining the CBR for the last couple of years, months rather.
Yes.
It's the monetary policies right now. The monetary stance is largely accommodative. You could say so. Who is benefiting from this? Because it's not being translated into the real economy. Because as I just mentioned, the demand side, the supply side of the economy are both weak. Typically, if the monetary economics is said that you get into a monetary expansion when you see weaknesses on both sides, because then you start dropping money like ECB, US Fed, drop money from the helicopter, just to kickstart both the supply and demand. And we are in a monetary accommodation stand, and it's not translating. Where is it all going?
Because with monetary policy, you, as rightly say earlier, you lose your tools.
Yeah.
One of the tools is open market operations.
Open market operations, which I mentioned.
Yeah, which assumes that if you raise the rate, then you'll be able to mop the excess liquidity in the market.
Yeah.
But you see, that presupposes that the amount you are mopping is in the system.
Yes.
But if a good chunk of that money is not in the system, you can mop all you want. It will not have the impact you're supposed to have.
Yes.
And that's why you're seeing, if you look at it, there's a lot of pressure on the dollar.
Yes, a lot of pressure.
The dollar is hitting 104. Now, that kind of pressure can only be coming from an underlying transactions in the dollar market, mostly because of of course, the imports, but not imports, because we have got good forex cover.
Yeah.
Good forex import cover, but the pressure is probably coming from the deadline of the demonetization pressure, because don't forget that not everybody can bring their money through the front door.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So they're finding ways of dollarizing their stock.
Yeah, their stock.
But they're not dollarizing it through formal channels.
Yeah, yes.
But the pressure eventually shows. That's why you see the good pressure. And that's why you're saying, and as rightly said, the only way CBK, OMO may not work much. It may, but not. But what will actually get us there is actual intervention in the forex market by the CBK.
Yeah.
They have to put it, and dollars they have.
Yeah.
So they could go into the market and bring it down to where they want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk free trade.
Yes.
Nigeria is joining the content of free trade agreement in. They've just announced that they'll join at the next AU meeting. Is that significant? Nigeria, is on book is the largest economy.
Yes. Before I answer the question, you just put context. It's the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Yeah.
I think for the purpose of the viewers, I think it's good to build up how economic integration works to the top, because it basically starts from a preferential trade area.
Yes.
Which basically means this group of countries will have preferential customs with each other that they are not charging others. So preferential means on the lower side.
Yeah.
Then that graduates to a free trade area, where they say now we no longer charge a preferential trade tariff, we will not charge at all.
We actually zero rate.
Yeah, within ourselves, but for outer boundaries, we continue charging whatever we want.
Yes.
Then we proceed again to now our customs union,
where
we say we are not charging anything to ourselves, among ourselves, but even to our external guys, we're going to charge a single tariff, a single rate.
Yeah.
So our wall now is of the same size.
Yeah.
And then now from customs union, now we say, no, let's go further. Let's now use one currency.
Yeah.
A monetary union, which is what EU is now.
Yes.
And then finally into a political federation, where now we say even now, let's even have one political system.
It's just a series of progression.
Yeah, so it's progressive. Yeah. So in that progression, we are only number 2. We're in the free trade area. So So and because it has to start from there.
Yeah.
And thank God we've skipped stage 1. So we are stage 2. Nigeria joining is big because now South Africa was already there, Kenya was already there, Ghana. So with Nigeria in, the rest will have to rush in.
Yeah.
And everybody's trying to be the deadline of the AU.
Yes.
Because I think it'll be the trendy thing to be in.
Yes.
So everybody I think is trying to work towards
being in the agreement. Free trade. I mean, how important is free trade to economic development? Because look at the EU, for instance. Free trade, single currencies, teething issues here and there, but overall, it's a beneficial thing.
It is.
You talk about Africa, for instance, and Africa has been considered to be the least intra-trader.
Yes.
The least intra-trader. Yes. And I've been in forums where this has been cited constantly. Africa needs to start trading with itself.
Yes.
And that's where because I think it's very historical. We go back to colonial times. Africa was where the colonial masters sat in Berlin, in Germany in the 1880s, late 1880s, to divide Africa.
Yes.
Consequently, the various regions that were based on the colonial master power, you got the British, the Anglo zones, you got the Franco zones.
Yes.
They've tended to trade with their colonial masters. So I'll give you an example. For instance, if I'm going to West Africa, I have to buy my tea, carry it, because I wish I could find Kenyan tea and the supermarket shelves in Nigeria, for instance. I can't find them. I've got to carry them from here. But how important, just talk us through, how important is intra-trading?
You see, trading, first and foremost, should start with your neighbor going outwards.
Yeah.
But I think for us, we do it the other way. We'll trade with somebody who's very far, and they are the Americans, the Europeans, and the Asians, and leave out our neighbors here.
Yeah.
Now, what free trade does is that it enables countries to fully optimize their comparative advantage.
Yes, that's true.
Because when you have a comparative advantage, something means that you can produce it better than everybody else. But tariff kills that. Because, yes, I've been able to produce it at X amount per unit, but they've loaded Y on it.
Yeah.
So, and that benefit goes away.
That doubles the cost.
But now the moment it's a free trade, it means if I produce it at X, I'm going to sell it at X in Nigeria, at X in Morocco. The only cost being the cost of transportation.
Yes.
Then
which is minimal.
For big consignments. Now, if you look at Africa, we were by design, based on colonization, we have the Maghreb, the Arab world at the top.
Yeah.
We have the ECOWAS, the West African brothers. Yeah. Then we have our PTA and Central Africa here with us.
Some zones which keep overlapping preferential trade zones.
And then now we have SADC at the bottom. We have the Franc, people who speak French, others speak English, others speak Portuguese, and others speak
Spanish.
Yes. So and for that reason, trade becomes a problem. Because for you to trade, you must be able to communicate. Communicate language. Language is a problem. So that's why he is struggling to decide, do we do Kiswahili, do we do English? That is also a debate, because we have to have a common language of communication. Number 2, the standard of our railways must be the same. Our railways don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
You reach a border, the railway either expands or becomes smaller.
Yeah.
Because if we had a single gauge, let's say if we say standard gauge, everybody's needing will be 1 meter. Then the whole of Africa. That means I can do a train ride from here to Yaoundé.
To Dakar.
Or to Dakar. But now, you'll reach there, you have to come out. Because the gauge Tazara is on is not the gauge we are. Probably now is the SGR, but the previous one could not get into Tazara.
So then access to market becomes a problem.
Yeah, becomes a problem. So, and our roads. So, but now, the moment we have a free trade, and then now free movement of people.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, labor is a factor of production.
It's a factor, a very significant
like now, the way we have a lot of Kenyans who are who are willing to work and don't have work. The other countries who have the opposite problem.
I've seen that.
Yes.
Our neighbors, for instance, Rwanda, have huge skills gap. Significant.
They do. You see, Kenya, human capital will not be a problem anytime soon.
Yes.
So we can be net exporters
of labor.
Of labor.
Skilled labor, for instance.
Yes. And you can see even now, the diaspora earnings are a function of capital, of human capital.
Yes.
It is exported abroad. So actually, our biggest export is human capital, even bigger than tea and tourism.
Yeah.
So what we're saying for Africa, we need to be able to talk to each other in the same language. Our movement needs to be seamless.
Yes.
Then, like now with that agreement, any African traveling within Africa should receive their permit on arrival call it visa, call it stamp, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But basically, they are just allowed to enter. And I think Kenya has already implemented that. Yeah. Any African coming to Kenya is allowed, but many countries have not. And I think that's one of the biggest agenda, because once we do that, then now we open our skies. Yeah. Because like now, if you want to go to most of the Maghreb countries or Senegal, you'll find you probably not do a direct route. You probably may have to go to Europe. Yeah. Or go via Dubai.
Yeah, I've heard of stories where I've been in West Africa. I heard stories where if you wanted to move from Yaoundé to Lomé, you had to take Air France.
You go to Paris, then come back. Yeah.
Then come back to Lomé.
It is that ridiculous. Yes. And those things will continue to happen until if we open our skies, because everybody is protecting their skies, but we are all holding a small queen cake and want a whole of it. Yeah. Whereas we could have a very big pie and then have a big slice of it. Okay. So let's expand this pie, because Africa, don't forget, we're talking about easily $1 trillion in resources on the very lower side. Yeah. So, and don't forget also, even weather-wise, it's the only continent that can feed itself. Yeah,
we actually, even if you read some
even if we close everybody out. Yeah. And I think that's the worry of everybody else.
I mean, the DRC alone can produce enough food.
But you see, again, you can see what goes on there. Yeah. So some of these initiatives, I think, in the long run, we will go very far. Because you see, we were already at free trade. Now, if we graduate to customs union, where we say, again, now, our tariffs are the same. Now we've already ring-fenced ourselves. Now going to monetary union will be very easy. Yeah. Go to single currency.
Yeah, that should be our next. But before we take a small break, which is ahead of the market close, because East Africa is the East African community, which is EAC, is often cited as the biggest intra-trading region. I mean, what are some of the relations that EAC can actually set?
You see EAC.
Why is EAC the top intra-regional trader?
You see, if you look at, like for example, if you look at Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and then now Rwanda is in, despite that heavy trading, there's still a lot of suspicion among us. Goods don't move freely. If you go to Namanga here, you'll see that very openly. So we are still far. We are doing well, but we could do much better.
Much better, yes.
Much better. Yes. Now you imagine that this on an African scale.
That'll be big.
It will be big. Yeah. And you see, and then some of these fears that we have about each other will start coming down. Because sometimes when you interact with someone, so some of the fears you have about them go away.
Yes.
Because they're not informed by truth. And they're informed by perceptions.
And you demystify some of those fallacies and mysteries and everything else. And it becomes more easy to open up. Yes. Single currencies, EAC, we've been trading with each other for long. I mean, there's been a talk. It's been the pipeline for some time. Single currencies in East Africa?
You see, we're trying to skip. You see, in Africa, what we have, in East Africa, EAC, we are somewhere in between preferential trade area and free trade. We're somewhere in between there.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
We're stuck somewhere in between. We've not completely left PTA, and we've not arrived at FTA. We are somewhere in between there. So talking about monetary union, we've not even done customs union yet. So we are far. Because first of all, we have to agree that we are a free trade area. We move, goods move and people move freely. Then now, we can talk about, now let's charge a common to all of us. So until we agree to this, I think...
We're jumbling. We're jumping something. Something else that I want to ask you is, down south, I mean East Africa going down south, we have a lot of overlapping preferential trade areas.
We do, like SADC.
PTA, we have SADC, we have I don't know what. We have about, I think we have EAC, we have Tanzania, member of SADC, but a member of EAC, but a member of PTA.
And now it becomes a problem. Yes. When two PTAs, preferential trade areas, overlap, then they work against each other. Because preferential means there's a tariff. Yes. So this one charges this one. So that means you'll always charge what works for you. Yeah. Every time this works for me, you pull this card. Like Tanzania pulls that a lot. When it suits them, they'll say they're part of SADC. And there's nothing you can do because they're part of a protocol. Yeah. So PTA is very tricky. But if they were in an FTA, it would not matter. Because FTA, every goods and humans move freely. So whether you overlap them or not will not really matter.
So you see, I think we'll take a short break for the market base, but the next question when we come back is, do you see the continental free trade area collapsing all these overlapping. But let's take that after break because the market is closed. Let's take the closing bell. We come back for more discussions.